All right, you guys, we are back to our cottage making, and what you can see here, this is just an extra piece of clay, is that I have cut out and decorated most of my pieces here. I put some grass and a snail. I have a grass and a mushroom. I've got my doors on. My roof is cut. This is my chimney. And now I'm going to start assembling. But before I do, I want to just add a couple more things. So I'm going to just give this a little spray so it doesn't dry out on me. I'm definitely going to want to put a little trim around this. So let me move this up here. I want to put a little trimmer on this piece right here. I'm just going to take a coil. Move this up as well. I'm working on plastic because I don't want my clay to dry out. I can also spray my board. It's a little tricky to work on plastic for sure, especially when you start cutting. So you know what, I'm just going to move this. And if you don't want your clay to dry out, you have to keep your board wet. So I am sponging it down just a little bit and moving my pieces. Here's my chimney that I have not built yet, these 4 pieces. And add a little water to your board. That's a little trick here so that it doesn't dry out. So your clay doesn't dry out, right? It's difficult to roll a coil on plastic, so that's why I've moved off the plastic, wetting the board down, and now I can begin my coil. Remember that you only want to put pressure when you roll a coil on the out. You can put pressure on the in as well if you want, but not both. So either put pressure while you're rolling out or put pressure while you're rolling in. And I just want to see, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to go a little skinnier. This wall that I have here has this really cool rock. So if I wanted to, I could get the rock, just the rock off this cookie cutter. If I also squish this together a little bit. So I'm going to try 2 different things. My first idea was that I was going to wrap this around and then put some decorative detail in it, which would be cool. My second idea is I wanted to match this little stonework around this door. So let me see if I can work that out. I'm basically just rolling out a coil, not too thin, and then I'm going to push it in here. Remember that when you spray, you want to move the spray around. And I'm just going to come in and push this clay in here. I just want to pick up the impression of these stones. I'm working my way around, just pushing in. If I see any spots that are little empty or bald spots, I can patch. Let's see if I can bring you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And that hopefully will give me a really cool cobblestone impression. We'll see. I'm just going to smooth this a little so it's easier for me to score. It's also helping pick up the impression. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Yes. I'm going to take my knife and cut this out. And if it's all right, because these cottages are not, you know, super swanky modern condominiums. They are woodsy cottages. So a little imperfection is okay as long as it looks it was meant to be, and you still are being really careful when you compress after slipping and scoring so that everything stays on really strong. Okay, so I've got this little rock. Oh, it's going to be very cute. So I'm going to score. I'm not going to use all of it because this door is a little bit smaller. I'm scoring a little bit. A little water for slip. And then I'm going to attach. So obviously I took the trim off of one door and I'm attaching it to the other, so there's going to be some leftover that I don't need, so I'm just cutting that off. There we go. That's really super cute. I'm really, really loving this. Very awesome. I love these cobblestones around the door. All right, there we go, and smooth on the bottom so you can connect. And now we're going to start building. I do want to put a couple of windows in here, so I'm going to take my circle and put a circular window at the top of this. Do you use a circle? Absolutely not. You can use what shape you want. I'm just going for the circle. I like the way it looks, so I'm going to continue with that idea. Another one here. I'm evening them out a little as best as I can so they're kind of evenly placed. If you put lights inside this house, you're going to want some openings. So there's one started. All right. So I'm going to start cutting now and connecting. I'm going to cut a bevel, 45 degrees. Don't cut too much off. It can be a little tricky to know how to cut, so if you want to, you can place your walls like this, and then you kind of know, like, this is going to butt up to that. So it's going to be the same cut, right? Now watch. I'm butting it up here. I'm going to cut this at a 45. Again, you don't want to cut off too much clay. Diagonal vamos a cortar. No corte mucho aro. Take that off. This is the same angle I used here, so I'm going to use the same angle here. And that way these two pieces will fit. See that? Boom. Actually, I think I did this wrong. Yep, I did do it wrong. All right, fixing the mistakes. I did the wrong angle. That's okay, we can fix it. And now we're going to score this. I'm going to score this. Sorry, you guys were out of screen for a minute. And I'm going to attach. So a little bit of water. And these two pieces will come together. Let's switch cameras here. I'm pinching on the outside. The inside is also going to get pushed together. I want to make a strong connection. I'm going to use a little bit of water. And then I'm going to put in a tiny, tiny support coil. Very small. You don't want a big support coil, otherwise you're going to spend a long time smoothing that coil in. There's my support coil. I'm going to look for my rubber tip tool. Hold the outside, siempre soporta la parte de afuera. I'm supporting the outside, excuse me, and I'm pushing this coil in here. You have to be very gentle when you're doing this because this house is very fragile, right? Of course. It will be the inside of the house, so you don't have to do a lot of super smoothing, but you do want it to look nice. So I'm just gonna go in and go back and forth with a paintbrush. This will also really melt that clay into the connection and make your house stronger. Make sure the other side is also well connected. Okay. Oops. So I don't think I'm going to bevel that one, but I am going to bevel this one. So I'm going to score here. And I'm going to score here. Oh, sorry. Score. Score. You just have to sort of line it up and see where it's going to touch. I just realized that I didn't put my side windows in. That might be a problem because I've already attached this wall, so I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit. I'm just pushing in, pushing in. Trying to turn this so you guys can see what's going on here. Pushing this corner in, supporting and really pushing together. I don't want to get rid of my texture, so I'm just trying to be very careful. And then a tiny support coil for that part. I'm going to roll a little tiny coil. Bring you guys in here. I'm pushing my support coil in. You can use a rubber tip tool. Sometimes I use the back of a paintbrush. Of course, your fingers are the best tool, right? All right. So we've got 2 walls on. Now my last wall, I'm going to level it out here and see where I need, if I need to make any bevels. I might be able to just attach straight, which I think I'm going to. Yep. Great. So I stand the wall up just to check to see if I need to do any beveling here. And I know that this was beveled and it's going to attach to this. Beautiful. And this side over here is not beveled, and it's just going to come straight to the back of this wall. Little slip on all the things, all the sides, and now I attach. I'm compressing. Oop. Try not to squish my grass that I put on the outside of one of these walls. Smooth. It's important to look down from the top. I'm using the back of my paintbrush, and it's kind of adding to the texture as I smooth this together. So I'm not too worried about that. That's cool. One more little tiny support coil. And it's going to fit in here. Support coils are very important, folks. Okay, so I'm going to hold this. I'm going to switch cameras so you can see what's happening from the top. And then we're getting ready to add our roof. There we go. Great. So I'm just checking right now to make sure my walls are straight. That's also very important. And I'm pushing my coil in here. Always support the outside while you smooth the inside. And I'm pinching this corner so that it fits together, and then melting this coil out with some water, blending it in. Okay. Make sure your house is straight, your cottage. All right, make sure your walls are straight. You don't want any bowed out walls. I told you guys I did forget to put windows in here, so I'm going to go ahead and add some windows quickly before this clay starts to dry out. So I think I'm going to use some square windows. So I'm going to push in right here and cut through. This is a lot easier when your slab is flat on the table. So realistic, you've built your wall. And see this just pull like that, 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 just And again, I do not recommend cutting the window out when the wall is already on. So make sure you do that when it's flat. All right, we're going to stop there and continue with the roof in the next video.